can't is not an option. It's either I will or I won't. I know I can, but I will or I won't, and that's the thing. And in some cases, you may try your hardest and you just don't win, or you don't pass a test, or you don't succeed. That's part of life. Understanding it's going to take hard work, discipline, and learning how to work with other people in order to get to the next level. The first rule is to love and respect everybody you come in contact with. You're not going to agree with them. You're not going to even like them on some occasions, but you love them and you respect them. Number two is to be your best. If your best is a C on the test, even if it's D or F on the test, you can never be disappointed if you know you gave it your all. And then, number three is we don't use the word can't. It's not in our vocabulary. I was told my entire life, you'll never do this, you'll never do that, you can't do this, it's impossible for you to do that. When you tell somebody what they can't do, for some people that drives them, because you're not going to tell me what I can or cannot do. But for other people, when you tell them, oh, you'll never be able to do that, like that could be the breaking straw, and that back for that person, that's their spirit, to actually go out and succeed. So I never tell my kids, if they come to me and they may have the most outrageous idea, I say, all right, cool, let's figure out how we're going to do it. I never say, oh man, you can't do that, we ain't doing that. It's a work ethic. You got to be passionate about whatever it is that you're going to do, whether it be, an artist, entertainer, sports figure, political, like whatever it is that you decide to do in life, you have to have an extreme work ethic. You got to be willing to do stuff that other people aren't willing to do. You have to have respect. The first thing I taught my kids when they can understand it was how to shake somebody's hand. If your agenda is to help make an impact on people's lives, then it shouldn't matter if your name's at the top of the banner. It shouldn't matter if your gifts have certain name tags or whatever, however you want to do it. I'm super competitive, so nobody's going to tell me what I can't do. I mean, I can't sing, but don't tell me I can't sing. I'm going to give you my best singing possible. It's not that I can't sing, it's just I don't sing well. But you know what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, I always had a drive to, not prove people wrong, but to prove God right. God said that He has great plans for me. So my grandmother passed away from breast cancer in 1995. I was going to the hospice. The woman that was her roommate, per se, she was from the South, and she was very racist. Every time I come in the room, she'd say, oh, well, there goes that boy. I had to do everything I could. I knew I had grown because I didn't respond the way I probably should have responded had she caught me a couple years earlier. My grandmother, after a few weeks, she reached over and grabbed my arm, and she was like, if I happen to die before she does, I want you to come back and see her. And I'm like, no, this is not my grandmother talking right now. And so that ended up happening like 3 weeks after my grandmother said that. My grandmother passed away. And so my grandmother saw something at the time that I didn't really understand why she was doing it. But I went back and I go into this room, and the lady's sits up on her seat, and she's just starts bawling, crying.
And this is the racist lady?
Yes. And then she was like, I'm so glad I got a chance to see you again. I thought I'd never see you again. I apologize for how I treated you. I've gone to church. I've done so many things, in church. I've served the homeless, etc., etc. But I wasn't doing the one thing that I know that God would have approved of the most, and that's loving His people. And then she asked me if I can give her a hug. And I said in my TED talk, I was a little apprehensive about doing that because she could have, shanked me or something like that on the side. I hugged her, and when I hugged her, she said, "You're like the son that I never had." And I'm going, okay. I didn't understand it at the time. I'm walking out, and then the lady said, the ladies up front, they were like, "That was so beautiful to witness," because, essentially the reason why she had so much anger towards you was because she kind of got dropped off, which happens a lot in nursing homes or, care centers. The family dropped her off, and she has 2 daughters, and the daughters just couldn't handle the seeing their mom in that position. And my grandmother saw that before I would have ever saw it. She just saw, an opportunity for even the hardest of hearts to be changed, even in their dying days. If you can have impact on somebody that you know that way, then just imagine what's going to happen when you do that to a complete stranger. And it may not be "I love you and I believe in you." It may be the action of showing, hey, you're worthy of nice clothes or a nice pair of shoes, or you're worthy of being able to go and enjoy a movie. In college, the more successful people are the most of the time, the people that are more well-rounded. You kind of have an appreciation for what other people do and whatever other people are going through, but you can be inspired on any given moment, any given day, just talking to people.